It's 5 minutes with me.
Hey, friends. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Marko. That's me. As youth workers, we are constantly reminded that the teenage landscape is a very different world than when we were teenagers. We've even found that what was effective with young people 10 years ago doesn't work nearly as well today. The mindset of today's teenager is different, and there are multiple contributing factors to this reality. There are plenty of cultural shifts that I love, but we'd certainly all agree that some shifts present new challenges for the teenagers we're called to. Let's talk about a handful of those. The first is that anyone under 30 has grown up in a culture of immediacy. When I was a kid, I had to go to the library to get information for my school project. Today, teens can get any information they want within seconds. They can text a friend, touch base with mom, and turn in a paper all at the same time with just the push of a button. This creates some tension when scripture tells us to be still, to be quiet, and wait on the Lord. No wonder teenagers are leaving the faith for apparently easy and immediate fixes. Another difference of teenage culture today is they are way too busy and far too overscheduled. Today's students have just almost no time unfilled. Their day begins at 5 a.m. and often doesn't end until after midnight. They might play on multiple sports teams at once while taking college prep courses and working 20 hours a week at a part-time job. They are beyond busy and can't imagine being anything else. All the while, their parents often applaud this pace of life and view it as a way to keep their kid out of trouble or to build their college application resume. T.S. Eliot once wrote, "We are distracted from our distractions by our distractions." And Oswald Chambers writes in My Utmost for His Highest, "The greatest enemy of a life of faith is not sin, but good choices which are not quite good enough." He goes on to say, "The good is always the enemy of the best." Another compounding reality for teenagers is that they've grown up in a culture where everything is disposable. Their phones, cameras, water bottles, even relationships are disposable. Temporary and disposable are the norm. This mindset of disposability then naturally creeps into faith. If everything in the world is disposable, then why not a disposable faith when it's not working for me this week? And many teens will naturally wonder, am I disposable to God? An obvious aspect of our culture that's also having a major impact is the sexualization of all things. Now, it's not like kids weren't horny when we were growing up, of course, but the cultural landscape of sexuality is ever increasing and changing. This is having a profound impact on our guys and our girls. It's not just a different world. It's just I said that wrong. It's a really different world. And the accessibility to porn is almost omnipresent and creeps into every aspect of the lives of teenagers. And that absolutely has an impact on their everyday lives. Mainstream media, heavily influenced by pornography, normalizes this kind of behavior. And the more we see something, the more ordinary it becomes. It's no longer shocking. One more cultural shaping factor worth mentioning is that today's teenagers have grown up in a culture with a Starbucks spirituality. Teenagers, and most adults, honestly, now personalize and customize their faith similar to ordering a drink at Starbucks. I'll have a Kabbalah latte with a shot of Buddhism, some Jesus on top, and a Krishna cookie on the side. I've noticed the teenagers in my ministry have no problem with this contradiction. One truth doesn't have to exactly fit with another truth. This is a complex issue for sure, but as youth workers, are we graciously guiding them through this culture? Many students have no problem taking portions of other religions and applying the parts that resonate. As youth workers and parents in this culture, we have to graciously be their guides. We can't be afraid that they'll choose poorly or get off the path of Jesus. We must just trust God and not lead out of fear. We have to remind ourselves that Scripture will not return void or be taught to them in vain. And we must also allow them to teach us. In many situations, we need to be the listener and the learner. This open-handed approach actually helps young people become critical thinkers and opens their eyes to how significant a life of faith is in the midst of a very complex world.
Cartel Podcast Network.